I want you to think back to your breakfast this morning. Do you remember how many carbohydrates were in your meal, or how many grams of sugar were in your coffee? For most of us, we don't need to think about numbers like these on a day-to-day basis. But for people with type 1 diabetes, their entire lives are consumed with numbers. What their blood sugar is right now, how much their blood sugar has been fluctuating over the past 3 months, 12 months, or their lifetime, how many units of insulin they need to take to have a piece of cake at a birthday party. And yet, for a disease which is so consumed with numbers, there are a couple of important ones that often go overlooked. For example, people with type 1 diabetes are twice as likely to break their bones and have a 6 times higher risk of hip fracture in older adulthood. Here's another number for you. People with type 1 diabetes are 2 times as likely to develop osteoporosis. Now, when we look at this figure here, we see another critical set of numbers, which is that the only years in your lifetime where you can readily build your bones to be nice and strong is during childhood and adolescence. Now, it just so happens that the years in which diabetes, type 1 diabetes, is most typically diagnosed is those same bone building years, as we can see with this yellow highlighted section. Now, this leads me to wonder, is there something about diabetes and its onset during childhood that sets people up for poor bone health down the road? This is what my thesis is hoping to assess. I want us to circle back to some of those all-important diabetes numbers. So, what your blood sugar is, how much it fluctuates, and how long you've had diabetes to understand if those factors are associated with bone. To do this, we're bringing in kids with diabetes who are 10 to 12 years old, and we're doing high-resolution 3D imaging of the wrist and the shin bones so that we can look at how much bone they have, how it's shaped, and how strong it is. Then, we're looking to their medical records to look at their routine blood draws and their day-to-day wearable sensor data to understand what their blood sugar typically is, how much it fluctuates, and how long they've had diabetes. Now, our findings so far are quite preliminary, but so far what we've seen is that the kids who are diagnosed with diabetes closer to puberty have had lower bone density in the wrist and the shin. The better that we can understand which kids who have type 1 diabetes are at elevated risk of fractures and osteoporosis, the better we can intervene proactively with things like physical activity and routine x-rays so that we can work to decrease the prevalence of poor bone health in this population and give people with type 1 diabetes a couple less numbers to worry about.